Wow, so House of the Dragon just went full Targaryen. I mean, full Targaryen. So, this is definitely the best episode of House of the Dragon that we've had so far, especially considering that last week's episode just felt like a filler episode. It didn't really feel like it moved along the plot. I know it did. I know a lot of events actually did happen, but it just felt like a slow episode. And also, we didn't have Damon speak even one word in that episode, and I know there were reasons from a, technical standpoint, whatever. There were reasons that they chose to not have him speak so that his actions can obviously shine through on the battlefield. And, I just like it when Damon's speaking. I like it when Damon's on screen. He just shines. His character really brings the show to the next level. But I really don't like his haircut. Anyway, that's not important. But so I really just think of Bran in Game of Thrones. Like, is he watching all of this in the future? Is he watching all these events that are happening right now? Like, how creepy is that to think of that? Of him in his wheelchair, just doing that creepy stare, thinking of all this. Anyway, so I haven't read any of the books that this is based upon yet. In my last review, I called it. That Damon and Rhaenyra had something going on. I just felt that chemistry between them. So I don't know if that's canon accurate or not. If you've read the books, let me know down below. Is this something that happens in the books as well? But yeah, I said, why don't they get together? Because that's what Targaryens do, right? And it looks like it's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to be endgame or not. But anyway, so we have Daemon coming to the king and making up. So he kneels in front of the king and gives him this very, very ugly, ugly crown made of human bones, I think. And yeah, that makes everything okay between him and the king for like 2 seconds. And then Daemon does what Daemon does and causes trouble simply just by being there. So Rhaenyra is unsatisfied with all the suitors that come and ask for her hand in marriage.
What's going on? A violin? Pants with a crease? Why?
Marge, you deserve a wedding day that, unlike our children, was planned in advance. So, will you marry me in style?
And you've got to feel sorry for her because she is, 18 years old at this point. And she has such a huge, huge burden on her, but still at the same time, she does act like a bit of a brat in this episode. Like, these men have travelled a long way to see her, and she just leaves, just gets up and walks away. I feel like Damon's wife, his current wife, is really underestimated. I don't know if I'm right, but I think she was the one that sent that little boy to follow Daemon and Rhaenyra when they went into the city and have him report to Otto. So I don't really know what game she's playing, if I'm right, and she did do that. And that's what I love about this in Game of Thrones, is like trying to outthink everybody. Like, what are they up to? What's their angle in this? So anyway, we have that scene that everybody is talking about at the moment. You all know the one that I'm talking about, with Daemon and Rhaenyra in the pleasure house. And I've got to say, it was uncomfortable to watch, but at the same time, oddly satisfying that I was right. I knew what was going to happen. Anyway, so honestly, this is one of these times where I am disappointed in Daemon. I really wanted him to be better than this. Like, he's one of those characters that's written as grey. He's not all morally right, but he does have some soft spots. Like, he doesn't go ahead and try to kill his brother because he does care about his brother. And he doesn't go all the way with Rhaenyra because he doesn't want to ruin her, because obviously in that setting, doing that to her as the princess would ruin her and limit her chances. And we see him taking her there and stopping. if you see the behind the scenes, like director's commentary or whatever it is on this episode, you see they say that it's about him. He feels guilty for what he's doing, but at the same time, he feels emasculated that she is into him and he isn't in charge of the situation anymore. So with Damon, I don't know, it could go a bit either way, but honestly, I do feel like he was just using her for power and doesn't really care about her and just wants her power. And I don't know, I just feel like, okay, he takes her to this place and undresses her in public in front of everybody, and it's like, that doesn't really feel like something a man that, wants to protect his niece would do. And then he just leaves her there, half-dressed, the princess, in the middle of one of the worst parts, presumably one of the worst parts of town, leaves her there, half-dressed, basically naked, and it just feels like anything could have happened to this poor girl. So I've got to admit, I did sort of hate Damon there, and I don't want to hate him because he's my favourite character. Anyway, so look, I just feel like he's one of those characters that is so good because you love to hate him. So I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. What do you think happened in that situation? So we see Rhaenyra is set to marry the sea snake's son. So the king sort of finally puts his feet down and says, metaphorically, this is what's happening. Gets his daughter in line, you know what I mean? And fires Otto, and it feels like he's finally starting to step up and become a king. Because Otto has been playing him for a fool for so long, everybody has been manipulating this guy. And I feel sorry for him, but at the same time, I feel like he's just so naive and he comes across as weak and easily manipulated. It was pretty obvious to me what Otto was doing. And yes, the king, with his daughter, trying to get him to marry his daughter. And yes, the king was deeply in grief, grieving his dead wife, but still, it was pretty obvious what was happening. And he fell into the trap and then got angry that he fell for it. But then, on the other hand, Otto was telling the truth about Rhaenyra, so yeah, it's sort of like he was trying to do the right thing in a way, though he obviously had an angle of how it benefited him. But I just feel like the king sort of gets played for a fool by everybody. So we see Alicent and Rhaenyra make up again, well, for now anyway. I just feel like Alicent is jealous of her. She has all these choices. Her father gives her the freedom to pick her own husband, well, to a degree, but that's a freedom that Alicent didn't have at all. Anyway, I really felt uncomfortable of the scene with Rhaenyra and the Kingsguard. I forget his name, but look, the guy looked super uncomfortable the whole time that she was seducing him. And she knows, Rhaenyra knows that if anyone finds out what happened, he would be killed. They would murder him, and it just feels like a little rapey to me. I don't know, those are the vibes that I got. It just felt like this poor guy wasn't really in a position to say no to his princess. Anyway, but still, it was a really good episode. So let me know your thoughts down below. What did you think? And if you want to see more from me, please feel free to subscribe or just like and comment. It really helps my videos to grow. Thanks, guys.